Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I was too busy having FOMO because Hatching, the new Finnish horror, is not out in Australia for another month. It just hit cinemas in America, and I am bummed because this looks like a film that I want to see at the cinema. But when it comes out, I won't be here. So we got to do the next best thing, and that's watch it safely in my lounge room. I know I've done a lot of come chill with me style videos lately. I actually asked you on my Instagram and on my YouTube community page if you're okay with this, and you all seem down. So today we're gonna watch Hatching together. Not The Hatching. Please correct me if I say that, because I'm always putting the in front of things. It's an Australian thing. I've been really keen to see this film ever since it premiered at Sundance at the start of the year. And some of you who are from Finland have told me I need to see it right now. It's been in the cinemas in Finland for a while. I think a couple of months. Probably it's out of cinemas now. But finally, the rest of the world are getting it slowly. And I am just hyped to see what the buzz is about because it looks like a body horror film on acid. With or without birds, we'll figure that out. The film is about a young gymnast who desperately tries to please her demanding mother. One day she discovers a strange egg and hides it to keep it warm. But when it starts hatching, what emerges shocks them all. I am down. I am so down with the imagery that I've seen so far, the stills, including this picture. I absolutely love it. It's very eerie, so I want to understand what it means. I also saw a couple of headlines and I saw someone talk about social media, how that's integrated, and then there's this image of them with a selfie stick, so I'm very curious to see how this all comes together, and there's only one way to find out. It's to watch the film together now. So if you do want to watch along, it is available to rent in the US. This is the director's first feature. She has worked on some TV shows and some shorts, but this is the first time we're diving in for a feature-length horror movie from her. So I'm excited to see what's in store. I have no idea. I'm very excited. And some of you have already seen it and have said it's wild. Let's go check out Hatching, and I'll let you know whether it's worth the trip to the cinema, if you should rent it at home like me, or if you shouldn't bother. Let's check it out. Nice of him to give me some space on the couch today. I get a lot of questions about Gromit. That's my Greyhound's name. He is a rescue. If you want to know anything more about Greyhound rescues, I'll leave a link down below. But today is about horror, and Gromit usually sleeps through the whole thing. So let's jump into Hatching. And if you're going to watch along, pause now. I'm really not putting this on. I am speechless. That was more bizarre than I could have ever, I don't know what I was expecting, but that was so bizarre and more bizarre than I ever thought it would be. Part of me is just trying to analyze what it means. What does it mean? What does it mean? This is really one you have to go with the flow and just accept the craziness. Kind of like Titan. It's just out there. And it's not as simple as it seems at the start. So this film is exactly what it says and so much more. It is a Finnish horror movie about a girl who's under a lot of pressure created by her family environment. And she finds this egg and starts to kind of look after it, and it begins to grow. And what is inside is very confusing. What is inside really does pull her whole family apart. But really, were they together in the first place? The film is like stacked on layers and layers, and it really, well, it starts off and it features around, because we were talking at the start about the selfie stick, that has a lot to do with this. Basically, the mother is like some kind of mummy blogger, but it's more mummy blogging in a sense of her lifestyle being picture perfect. Usually mummy bloggers have to do with their children or their babies, and this mum is just, she is live, laugh, love on crack. She's the worst. The house is pristine. Everything is like white linen, white couches, crystals, like, you know, like glasses and stuff like that. And, you know, chandelier decor. And it's just all perfect. And her family have to be like dressed to the nines. Everything is picture perfect, basically. And so she's under, as a girl, she's under a lot of pressure. But there's so many other lines this mother crosses. I mean, I guess that could be an okay environment. I don't know. I didn't grow up like that. But the mother crosses so many other boundaries, pushing her daughter, and then also oversharing, and just, it's just the boundaries are all messy. And there's just so much pressure into this girl. And with everything that happens, it's, you're kind of trying to read, oh, for me, I would love to hear interpretation, but for me, it was very interesting to try and figure out what they were trying to say about this girl, because there's a lot of mixed messaging and metaphors that could be used. Like most horrors, I feel like the foreboding is really easy, and it's very fun to, you know, get the audience very excited about what's to come. There's like an eeriness dwelling, and there is something, obviously in this one, it's this egg's gonna hatch, and what the heck's gonna come out of it. And I feel like the foreboding in horror movies is where they really get you, but is the payoff going to be worth the ride? And with this one, it is interesting because I think that it will go either way with an audience depending on what you like. So listener, because this is for you to kind of decide whether this is worth your time. So what hatches, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but it does have a lot of CGI, and it is fully exposed for a long time and pretty early on. I think that's good to know. I think it sets your expectations, and also if you're a CGI person, you'll know going into it and know that it's quite early on. So there is more, I wouldn't say twists, but there are more turns throughout this film. It isn't just about that. There's a lot more going on. The film is downright gross as well. And gross in ways that you're just not expecting it. I would, if you use doesthedogdie.com, I definitely look that up. That isn't just for animal deaths. It also has all triggers. And when I'm saying trigger, I mean more if you're triggered by gross aspects, you probably want to look into it. It was very unexpected how gross some of it was. And I think that it works really well as a juxtaposition with how beautiful and, or I mean, isn't beautiful, but how pristine the surrounds were, because what happens is very messy and it just throws you. We might as well talk about the cinematography since I've already spoken about how pristine the setting is. The film is shot in like a low f-stop, so it's quite like out of focus, like what you're seeing right now. This is really low. I shoot this in a 1.8, so it's quite similar where it's, you know, something's in focus and everything else is blurred. Shallow depth of field, very bright, and also quite faded. So it has that kind of soft feel, which again works really well with this family that are like picture perfect, you know, Sunday morning breeze. I don't even know what that means, but hopefully you understand. But what I really enjoyed about the film was actually the music. It has this amazing kind of theme, which is the classic kids kind of singing along, but the tune they're singing is really interesting and different, and it is really eerie. And then they pair that with this almost droning sound that is like this light ambient music, and they then transition into classical to kind of show like the family's background and, you know, how their house is and how they would be seen. And then that ambient music that's always kind of on the surface is just, it just ties it all in to show that not everything is as it seems, even though that they're pretending it is. It's got this dreamy feel to both the music and the color grading and the cinematography. Everything feels quite dreamy. And for that aspect, I do think this might work better watching it at home and renting it, because as I've said, some aspects are shown in full light, very detailed, and I think seeing them on the big screen, I don't know if it would work as well, like it might be too much. I'm really surprised how much of the reveal was done in daylight, and I could just imagine it. I can't even actually imagine this in the movies. It would be such a weird-ass film to watch at the cinema, and I think it works just as well at home for it. It's not like it's this superb, you know, beautiful landscapes and stuff like that, I think that it could be just fine if you can't get to the cinema. I always recommend going to the cinema. There's limited distractions there and it's the optimal viewing experience, but I do feel like this one would work just as well at home. And because it's so bizarre, it might be better and more comfortable to watch it at home. I'm honestly still trying to process this one. It's not that I don't like it. Again, there's a lot of interesting aspects. It's very original and unique, but I do feel like it did lose me a little bit with the CGI, but then it kind of comes around and it really does, it goes for it. It goes for it full force and it does not hold back. And that is something that I admire, that yeah, maybe it shows everything, unlike just revealing something and being subtle and holding the tension. It really just goes full force, and that's what kind of catches you off guard because it is so shocking and there's so many more turns in it than you expect, because just when you thought everything has hatched, there's another turn in the story and another layer to the characters. So it was very interesting in what it was trying to say with that. I think that this film would be really interesting to analyze because there are so many different layers to it. Mental health, pressures in the household. The mother just needs her own spin-off because she is a horror movie. I think she's worse than whatever came out of the egg, to be honest. But I don't think it's the perfect movie. I don't think it's for everybody. If you're looking for something very strange and very offbeat, I would write this one down, but I don't think it requires a full cinema screening. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. I feel right saying that. I do think it's really interesting, really cool aspects, and I didn't hate that I watched it. I was very glued to the screen the whole time, so that's good. But I feel like CGI, not that it's bad, I just wasn't expecting. It kind of loses some of the horror element. In this movie, I think that it's meant to visually look scary. I don't think it does. I think that the psychological elements and like what's actually happening to this young girl is so much more dark and disturbing than anything that comes out of that egg. I really do think that. So yeah, so I think I'm going to give it a 6. Super interesting though, but yeah, not a film I'll probably rewatch unless I need to for another video or in a group setting. It'd probably work really well in a group setting. For originality, I'm going to give it an 8. I did think it was very original, very interesting, and again, loved the metaphors and the layering. They could have made it so simple and just gone with exactly what the blurb is, but they added more to it, which I really enjoyed. It gave you more to think about than just watching it go through the motions. And for scare score, as I said, it's pretty gross. I don't think it's scary. A lot of it happens during the day, but night or dark scenes don't equal scares. But I do think because, again, early reveal, some of the tension is lost. So it's really just how much you care about the characters as to how much tension it holds. So for scare, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I try and make these videos as a helpful guide so you know whether the film is for you, because we all like different aspects in horror. And so I try to describe it in a way that isn't going to spoil it, but it's going to let you know whether it's worth your time. So if I succeeded in that, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, I'd love to have you here. I do videos on horrors and thrillers every single week. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, friends.